Imagine every photo you've ever taken, every movie on Netflix, and every single video on YouTube. Now, imagine shrinking all of that digital mountain into something so small you could barely see it with the naked eye. We are running out of space. By the end of 2025, humanity will have generated over 180 zettabytes of data. To store that on traditional hard drives, you'd need a data center that covers entire cities. But nature solved this problem 4 billion years ago. It created a storage device that is microscopic, waterproof, and can last for hundreds of thousands of years. It's not a silicon chip, it's DNA. And yes, scientists are already using it to store your digital life. To understand how this works, we have to look at what DNA actually is. We usually think of it as a biological instruction manual, the blueprint for making a human, a tree, or a dinosaur. But at its core, DNA is just a language, and it's surprisingly similar to the language computers use. Your computer uses binary, a system of zeros and ones. Everything you see on your screen right now is just a long string of zeros and ones. DNA has its own code. It doesn't use 2 numbers, it uses 4 chemical letters, A, C, T, and G. These stand for adenine, cytosine, thymine, and guanine. The specific order of these letters determines whether an organism becomes a mushroom or a mathematician. So scientists asked a simple question: if nature can store the complex instructions for life in these tiny molecules, why can't we use them to store a JPEG, a song, or a text file? Here's where the sci-fi becomes reality. This isn't theoretical, it's happening right now. The process involves a translator. Scientists take a digital file, let's say a photo. They break that photo down into its binary code of zeros and ones. Then, they translate that code into DNA's 4-letter alphabet. For example, a 00 might become an A, and a 01 might become a C. Once they have this new genetic sequence, they don't inject it into a mouse or a human. Instead, they send it to a lab that performs chemical synthesis. Machines literally build synthetic DNA strands, molecule by molecule, matching that sequence. The result is a tiny speck of dust in a test tube. That dust is your photo. To read it back, they use a standard DNA sequencer, the same machine used for genetic testing. It reads the letters, converts them back to zeros and ones, and voila, your photo appears on the screen. Pixel perfect. So how much can we actually fit inside this biological hard drive? The density is mind-blowing. A standard hard drive stores data on 2D magnetic platters. DNA stores data in 3D, packed tight into a molecular helix. Scientists estimate that you could store all the world's data, every internet page, every bank record, every TikTok, inside a container the size of a shoebox. We've already done some amazing tests. In 2019, the band Massive Attack encoded their entire album Mezzanine into DNA. They packaged it into a spray paint can. Each spray contained thousands of copies of the album hidden in the DNA of the paint. Microsoft and the University of Washington have successfully stored and retrieved the entire English text of Wikipedia, roughly 16 gigabytes, in a tiny smear of DNA. And the best part? It lasts. Hard drives degrade in a decade, CDs rot, but DNA found in fossils has remained readable for over 1 million years. If you store your data in DNA today, your great-great-great-grandchildren could read it perfectly in the year 3000. So if this technology is so perfect, why aren't you buying a DNA drive at the electronics store today? There are 2 big hurdles: speed and cost. Right now, writing data into DNA is incredibly slow. It takes hours or even days to synthesize just a few gigabytes. It's like trying to download a movie on a dial-up connection from 1995. And it is expensive. While reading DNA has become cheap, thanks to the medical industry, writing custom DNA still costs thousands of dollars per megabyte. But just like the first computers that filled entire rooms and cost millions, the technology is shrinking and getting cheaper every year. Experts predict that within a decade, DNA storage could replace the massive magnetic tape archives used by governments and big tech companies. We are moving from the silicon age to the biological age. Soon, the library of human history won't be stored in a cloud, but in the building blocks of life itself. So here's a question for you. If you could store one photo or message to last for 10,000 years, what would it be? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this surprising history, please hit that like button and subscribe to Simple Things. We'll see you in the next story.